All right, welcome once again to my channel. My name is Chifrin. I talk about peculiar issues in the society, relating it to my personal experiences. And this time around, I want to talk about why it is so hard for most Nigerian graduates who studied abroad to get a job in Nigeria. So I will be relating this to my personal experience, being that I studied in the UK and I came back to Nigeria in 2013. I had a first-hand experience running around trying to get a job as a foreign graduate. It wasn't funny at all. Though the competition in Nigeria is very high, even to the Nigerian graduates based at home, those who studied within the country and those who studied abroad as well, it is also difficult for the both parties to get jobs in Nigeria. So in this video, I will also tell you why my application was trashed in one of the occasions I went to search for a job. So when I came home, I went in search of job in one of the organizations in Lagos Island. The interview processes took around 1 whole month. So when they presented me with the appointment letter and I looked at the content of it, the salary, the allowances, transport and what have you, read 50,000 Nigerian naira, which is currently £100 in a month. Then in the UK, I worked as a student. You know, as a student in the UK, you have 20 hours to work in a week. So when I work for about 8 to 10 hours a day, I earn 25,000 naira. Understand me, in those years, a pound was just 250 naira. Currently, a pound is almost 500. So I earn 25k just on a day that I work, probably for about 8 to 10 hours. Okay, and looking at the content of my pay offer, and it reads 50,000 naira for 30 good days. Honestly, that was really annoying. And I calculated the chief fare, transport fare from Ikoyi to Lagos mainland. Then I was staying in Festac. It amounted to 1,200. So at the end of the month, I should be spending around 25,000 naira out of the 50k of the salary. At the end of the day, it would be like a total selfless work. So I came home. In fact, I was annoyed, And of a truth, we never had a plan of spending more than 6 months in Nigeria because we had a plan to return abroad after our marriage. So, you can never predict the future. And I looked for jobs in several other places. Some of them got intimidated by my degree abroad. You can even ring up somebody to say, please, can you help me? Because I spoke to one of the doctors, I remember. I said, please, can you connect me? He said, with this, your qualification, there's nothing I can do for you. That somebody I'll be presenting it to would even be afraid to offer you a job. They might think that you want to take their position. And there was another interview I went. We did the written test and I was successful. So when I went for the one-on-one interview, I faced a panel of 3 people. The HR was one of them, and the kind of questions the HR was throwing at me: you read in Nigeria, that wasn't enough for you, you still traveled to UK to study, now you want me to employ you in this place so that tomorrow you will unseat me. I got tired. And at the end of that panel, one of them approached me outside that I shouldn't mind what the HR said to me, that I did well in their oral interview, that meanwhile, like they said they were going to call me, that they would contact me. That was in 2014. I waited up till this time. Nigerians, they have the habit of, when you come for an interview, they wouldn't write you back to tell you if you're successful or you are not successful. In one of my videos, I talked on that as well. So I continued my life, thinking of what to do. I thought of establishing a school in Nigeria because I have this idea of trying to run a school in Nigeria. But then I considered the fact that establishing something like a school in Nigeria needs your presence to run it properly, or else if you hand it over to people, they might mismanage it. If you come from abroad, think of something to establish on your own, especially when you did not study something related to health. Even those who studied courses related to health in abroad, they tend to stay back abroad and do their work, which is perfect. If, for instance, you found yourself in Nigeria think of what to establish. When I got tired of waiting and waiting, our plan of traveling back to abroad was not forthcoming. I decided to look for a job in one of the schools within my area. It's a big school and a modern school. I recalled I dropped my CV in that particular school in 2017. They did not call me. So when I enrolled my child in their kindergarten section, so I decided to talk to their headmistress. I had to speak to her. I was like, I want to work in your school. She was like, I'm not serious, that they can't employ somebody like me, a big madam, that kind of jokes. I was like, what do you mean? I want to work. She didn't believe me. Okay, the second day again, I brought my child. I said, please, ma, I want to work in this school. I like this school. I like the standard. Can I find a place? He said, please, look at, because then I've always dropped my child off the school in a Honda Pilot Jeep. So the woman was looking at me. She was considering the class and blah, blah, blah. How can I even think of coming to work in that school? I was like, ma'am, please, I need this job. Okay, can I volunteer? When I said volunteer, then she believed that I was very serious. She said, okay, why bring in your child tomorrow? Get your CV, let's see. The next day, I came with my CV. I dropped it off with this woman. She was screaming, oh my God, you studied abroad, you want to work here. Can they pay you? And she took my CV to the secondary section, handed it over to their HR/principal, because the HR is equally the principal. So this man looked at my CV and said, wow, according to the headmistress in the primary section, she told me that when the principal looked at my CV, the principal was like, wow, I've seen this CV last year and I trashed it. Then she was like, why did you trash it? He said, because he didn't want someone to take over his position from him, that the CV is too rich. How could she study abroad and she wants to work here? Oh my God. Then I told the headmistress, I said, please, ma, I am not after the money. Like I told you, I don't even mind volunteering. Whatever they can offer me, I don't want to bargain. Whatever they said they would offer me, I am ready to take it. So that was how this woman consented and spoke to this HR, who later invited me over for an interview. Last, I got the job. And when I met with the school owner, when I told her what I want, she said, okay, I'm going to pay you that. And be rest assured, they said your interview, because I was taking on a class interview, unprepared for the children SS class, and that was amazing. They all loved it, So the woman was like, just work for us. After 1 month, I'm going to increase your salary. I said, thank you, ma'am. To be honest, I worked there 2 days, and my husband called and I should start preparing to come over abroad. So I had to quit. What am I saying in essence? If you studied abroad and you have intention of coming back to Nigeria to work, make sure that you have a social connection. A social network of professional connection would help you a lot. You have connections who could put you through, who could refer you as well. And then come down to the level of what is obtainable within our country in terms of salary. Because if you continue converting whatever they promise to pay you or whatever bargain they put before you as salary to foreign currencies, honestly, you won't be able to work in our country. As you are living, or as you are saying no to the salary offer, another person is taking up that job with happiness, especially those who studied at home. So please, think of it first before coming home. You see, these days, people who studied in UK are mostly our politicians' children, because they know they have Abrahams as fathers back home. Once they come home, the job is already there waiting for them. Their parents have already prepared places for them. But if you are like me, who do not have, connections, make sure you accept, learn to adapt to what is on ground. Accept it, build your experience from one job to the other, You can get something better, or you can build on your skill and establish something on your own. This is just that. Thank you.